Hello, sir.
Hello.
Hello, sir. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, everyone.
Today's expert, Professor Garimalla Rama Murthy, sir, who is a professor at Mahindra University, Hyderabad. So he'll be taking a session on future of generative AI and reasoning. So meanwhile, I am requesting Professor G. Shobana Madam to introduce our resource person to the participants.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening, everyone. It is my honor to introduce Dr. Rama Murthy Garimalla, a distinguished researcher, educator, and innovator with a remarkable career spanning over 3 decades. Dr. Rama Murthy holds a PhD in computer engineering from Purdue University and MS in electrical engineering from Louisiana State University, both with outstanding academic performance. He has served in prestigious roles worldwide, including position at Simon Fraser University in Canada, Tampere University of Technology in Finland, and IIIT Hyderabad, among others. Currently, he is a professor at Mahindra University, Hyderabad. Dr. Ramurthy's contributions extend across a wide range of fields, including neural networks, signal processing, viral networks, performance evaluation, and data mining. With over 300 publications and several funded projects and patents, he has consistently pushed the boundaries of knowledge and innovation. His book, Multidimensional Neural Networks Unified Theory, stands a testament to his expertise in artificial intelligence. He has also received numerous awards, including APJ Abdul Kalam Award, the Rashtriya Gaurav Award, and the Bharat Excellence Award, recognizing his exceptional contributions to science and education. As a senior member of leading professional bodies like IEEE and ACM and a fellow of IETE, his leadership and influence extend globally. Beyond his academic achievements, Dr. Ramurthy is a mentor guiding the next generation of researchers and innovators. His passion for discovery and his commitment to solving complex problems inspire everyone who works with him. So let us welcome Dr. Ramurthy Garimalla, sir, a visionary leader
All right.
to this
Thank you.
future of generative AI reasoning. Welcome you, sir. A handover
Thank you.
session to Dr. Murthy, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Shobana. Thank you, Professor Samshivarav Garu. And,
Yes,
and other people. I have visited your college a couple of times with generous invitation from Professor Samshivarav, who possibly has written about 2 or 3 books. Okay. So without further delay, let us go into the future of generative AI. Okay. So here is the reasoning. And towards the end of the talk, I will tell why generative AI coupled with reasoning systems will be the future. And let us take the outline of the talk, namely, we'll start with generally my humble suggestion to all the participants. Whenever you want to work in any area, civil engineering, hydrology, or let us say intelligent transportation systems, or any area for that matter, or nanoscience, or any area, first understand how the area started, what were the roadblocks, how the people were able to come over the roadblocks, and what are the real current problems, and what are the bottlenecks, why those hurdles are not easy to cross over. So that kind of can give you an idea of what to do next. Generally, when you do research, you kind of look at what has been done and you kind of identify some gaps, and you kind of work on them and publish. So we'll start with beginnings and progress of artificial intelligence. What is the ultimate goal of artificial intelligence? What is the scope of generative AI? So we start the talk with some background related to artificial intelligence and the word generative AI. Okay. So you kind of get to know what generative AI is and why generative AI has received so much attention because of some generative AI products. The future of generative AI and typically emulation of creativity. The currently available products have some aspect of creativity, but not quite completely. The future of generative AI in terms of governance, like governance of a state, governance of a district, governance of a country, and the governance of the world. Future of generative AI and education. Future of generative AI and applications. Future of generative AI, novel themes. Some things people possibly didn't think over. And future of generative AI and its implications to science and technology. Future of generative AI, this is where, to me, there was a person called Mahesh. I think he works for Apple. He was giving a talk at Mahindra University. He kind of summarized what current generative AI can do and what it cannot currently do. To me, future of generative AI is being able to reason with corpus of data, reasoning. The whole idea of reasoning systems possibly is not fully capitalized. And finally, we'll provide some conclusions. All right? So the beginnings and progress of artificial intelligence. So normally, most of you take your child, put him into a nursery, put him into first standard up to fifth standard. When I was studying my high school or elementary school, in Andhra Pradesh, I don't know about other states, in the combined state of Andhra Pradesh, they want to give free education to certain students who are selected by some entrance tests. Typically, these tests, at that time, possibly most of you know Jiddu Krishnamurthy. Jiddu Krishnamurthy started a school in Rishi Valley, Madanapalli. All right. Now, my father brought me to Hyderabad to take the test. And I had no clue what will be the questions. So these tests are meant to test intelligence, intelligent quotient. All right. Now, most of you are participating. I'll give you one example of testing intelligence. I'll give you a numbers which are integers. 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 11, and so on. What is the next number? Anyone in the audience? You can unmute and say 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 11, and so on. What is the next number? Anyone in the audience? All right. So it will be 19 because it's the Fibonacci sequence. And Fibonacci was the first fellow to kind of think about the so-called difference equations. Fibonacci is much earlier than Newton or Leibniz. There was no calculus. All right. So without too much deviation, I'm sure there is a journal in India called Competition Success Review. It kind of gives number of intelligence related tests. So we go through these tests. We look at numerical patterns. We look at symbolic patterns. And we are able to guess the next pattern. And please keep in mind, the keyword is pattern. All right? As in pattern recognition. Or not so technically pattern recognition. This could be a visual pattern. This could be a color-based pattern. I'm sure some of you possibly played with Rubik's Cube. The cube designed by Rubik. All right. So you try to kind of play with these gadgets and you kind of come up with solution. So what these IQ tests do is they test logical reasoning and the ability to solve puzzles. Ability to solve puzzles. Then, a little while later, people wanted to enable machines with intelligence. And I'm sure most of you heard of, I forget his first name, by Gukesh, the fellow from Chennai who became youngest world chess champion. Okay. So Gukesh is extremely good at playing chess. It used to be that Russians like Karchonai, Karpov, and some other person, Gary Kasparov. So Russians were very good at, and what's the guy's name? Karl something, I forget his name. All right. So playing games, chess game, was the first game that was being programmed in a machine. And IBM, I believe the company, had Deep Blue, a chess program which can play against Grandmaster. And it was able to beat the Grandmaster. That means machines can be enabled with the ability to play games and beat the human beings. And we come back to this point maybe towards the end or maybe tomorrow. Thinking-based games like chess. Of course, the concept of artificial intelligence was coined by one professor. We have weak artificial intelligence, strong artificial intelligence, and cognitive AI. I call it cognitive AI. So the weak artificial intelligence based systems, like the systems which can do pattern recognition, that is, to be able to recognize alphabets, numerals, and so on by means of a machine, and image processing and analysis. What is there in the image? Is there a river? If so, where is it? If there is vegetation, where is it? If there is residential areas, where is it? So these are weak artificial intelligence. People were very successful to the extent that are almost 100% accuracy. Now, let's move on to the next slide. The ultimate goal of artificial intelligence is strong AI, strong artificial intelligence. So, when we say, I'll come back to this point throughout my lecture, understanding learning mechanisms in humans and animals. That is, how lower level animals how higher level animals like human beings, how do they learn from experience? And we'll come to that. Emulation of such learning mechanisms in machines. Now, tomorrow's talk, I'll be more clear. I leave you with a question. How many of you think that in 20, 30 years, there will be robots which can do everything you can do? So, emulation of patterns of creativity. Normally, species attributes are metabolism and reproduction. And these higher level machines were able to discipline them to the habit of concentration, and they created the way the current world is. My only feeling is we'll be able to colonize our solar system. There is a probe by NASA called Voyager. It's a kind of a spacecraft, and it was sent somewhere in 1970s. Currently, or maybe a few years ago, it was at the planet Neptune. And on the planet Neptune, there are rivers. On the planet Neptune, the indication is there are rivers, which means chances are very high there is life. There is life. But the only question is, are the living beings able to organize like ourselves? Okay. Now, without too much deviation, we want to emulate patterns of creativity such as those in humans. Extraction of approaches, a keyword, we want to extract the approaches used by humans for creating new themes. All right. Now, one of the early indications of higher abilities is art. We were not lagging behind. Painting by Ravi Verma, sculpture by Jackana, and let's say literature by Narayan Reddy, or poetry by Narayan Reddy, and others. So, in some sense, these patterns of creativity, to me, we'll come to that slide in a minute. I leave you with a question. Can a machine write a novel? And you are already getting an indication that yes. So, the ultimate goal of artificial intelligence is emulation of learning by a child. How does the child learn language? Can robots learn language? Can robots learn patterns? Can robots learn games? My feeling, yes. So the research efforts are currently underway around the world. And I leave you with a sentence. Tomorrow I will elaborate. It's kind of scary. It's kind of scary. But unless we are careful, we may be in trouble, because the machines can have intelligence as good as, if not better than, humans. So our research efforts are to answer such questions. But the main challenge, cognitive mechanisms are not fully understood. And we got to understand, suppose somebody asks you a question. What is life? All right. Now, generally why did the universe come from? Where did the universe come from? Why? These kind of questions, they are not easy to answer. They are not easy to answer. Scope of generative AI. So, those of you who are kind of a little new to the concept of generative AI, it is capable of generating text. Like, for instance, a program can write a letter for you. You just tell the key points, the machine can write a letter for you. Images, videos, and other types of data in response to queries or prompts. That is, you can not only generate text, but also images, like, let's say you want to have a beautiful model for, let's say, advertising some product, or videos. You want a machine to generate a video. For instance, most of the engineering colleges, and I suggested wherever I go, you want to advertise your college. So you give the inputs and the AI program will generate a video for you and other types of data in response to queries or prompts. Okay. Maybe not at the level that I mentioned. Generative AI models, what do? They learn patterns and structure of their input training data. That is, I am sure most of you heard of reinforcement learning. My advice to all of you, including NRI Institute, include a elective course on reinforcement learning. It is at the backbone of many generative AI systems. Also, include a machine learning course where you talk about transformer, pre-trained transformer. So this idea of transformer for natural language processing. Yes. So they learn patterns and structure of their input training data and then generate new data that has similar characteristics. Like the primitive situation is, in your cell phone, you are typing a message and your cell phone kind of gives you the next word or gives you the next sentence. Follow me. So you are learning the patterns and the structure of input training data, and you are generating new data that has similar characteristics. So the machine learning tools at the bottom of these is transformer-based deep neural networks, large language models. See, I'll be honest with you. In your curriculum, you may be including generative AI. See, it's not a bad idea to learn some buzzwords. Large language models, LLMs. All right? Okay, now let's go to the next slide. Scope of generative AI. Scope of generative AI. Like industrial software. 30% of Google software is generated by AI systems. The CEO of Google, Sundar Pichai, he announced that 30% of our software is generated by AI systems. Healthcare. And we'll kind of go over this, but because in the interest of time, we can now come back to this if required. Healthcare, like for instance, can a AI-based system, can it make a new drug discovery? Like, for instance, most of you are familiar with convolutional neural networks and deep learning systems. And there was a very difficult open problem, namely how the protein folds. So the protein folding problem was very difficult. And people have tried much before deep learning. But remember, we still don't have 80 to 90% logical reasoning why deep learning is working. But it's giving better than human accuracy. It needs large amount of training data. Okay. Now you may have heard of the ChatGPT is trained on trillions of data. Trillions of data. So generally, deep learning, I will give you an analogy. You give a 20-digit number multiplied by 13-digit number, the human being could take a couple of months to calculate, but a computer can do it maybe within 10 minutes or maybe less. Quantum computer may be able to do it within few seconds. So what you must always understand is machines can be very fast. Machines don't have human weaknesses. Okay? But machines are created by human beings or living machines. So healthcare, because the protein folding problem, you just program it. You just use a deep learning software and it can tell you how the protein is going to fold. So deep learning systems can do wonders. But if you ask me, how does that come under generative AI? So here is my quick answer. That is, you tell a program the symptoms, or a generative AI program, what are the symptoms? And it can quickly tell you what kind of drugs you can use. And also in entertainment. Okay. So I'll come back to these slides if required. Customer service, finance, sales and marketing, fashion and product design, social media, automotive industry, robotics, e-commerce, education, agriculture, transport, and many, many other areas. You have to keep in mind, all over the world, governments are making huge investments in generative AI. Scope of generative AI. For instance, astronomy. All right. We are trying to understand how the universe has started and where is the universe headed. What is the dark matter? What is dark energy? Nobody has clear understanding. For some reason, we still don't know. We only have a lot of data. We have telescopes, Hubble Space Telescope, and on the name of Subramaniam Chandrasekhar, NASA launched a telescope called Chandra. So we are getting a lot of data, but we still don't have the correct, complete clue. What is this dark matter? What is this dark energy? In gaming, playing games, science, like material science, technology, in building new machines, in all these areas, generative AI can understand the patterns in the current inventions, in the current discoveries, and can suggest new experiments. It can suggest new ideas. All right. Some generative AI products, so it's not science fiction. It's already very promising area. Chatbots such as ChatGPT, Copilot, Gemini, and Llama. See, look, there is competition for putting out products, and Zuckerberg is making billions of dollars. Maybe Sundar Pichai, or let's say OpenAI, or let's say Microsoft, they're all competing. It's good. It's kind of good. Hello? Text to image generation systems. You give a text. Say, look, you give a text. Give me the photograph of a beautiful South Indian model. Give me a beautiful scenario in Himalayas. Give me a beautiful way to advertise my product. Already text to image AI generation systems such as Stable Diffusion, Midjourney, and DALL-E. Text to video AI generators such as text to video, not image, three-dimensional. Text to video AI generators such as Sora. And about in December, a Chinese professor sent me a request. Can you send a paper to my journal? I have a IEEE journal special issue. And he said, we are going to use large machine learning models. Keyword is large, motivated by large language models. Again, generative AI is at the heart of it. So the future of generative AI, so give you some products, so it's clear. It is not science fiction, it's here. And it is catching steam. It is going to influence us. Future of generative AI. Emulation of creativity. See, look. Suppose you go to high school, or you go to, let's say, elementary school. You learn things about the way the current nature is. Possibly, you begin to learn science, and you begin to learn some discoveries and so on. Generally, after intermediate, every parent wants to send his or her daughter to medicine or engineering because that's where the money is. And money runs the world. So everybody wants to go to medicine or engineering. And then, so there are limited seats available. So some people go to Bachelor of Arts, BA. Some people go to BCom, Bachelor of Commerce. Some people go to MSc, MSc in math, MSc in physics, MSc in chemistry. Look, I told you the word intelligence is kind of not one-time affair. Subramaniam Chandrasekhar or Ramanujan failed, couldn't get a job, but he never lost hope. He was doing excellent math. Possibly one of the greatest mathematicians from India is Ramanujan. Maybe Harishchandra, and there are several others. But generally, some people go to history, some people go to arts. Now, why I told that is, some of the early creative abilities are in writing stories for Chandamama. Okay. Now, in about 10 years or 5 years, maybe 5 years, Chandamama can have a program which can write the stories. So, and forgive me for using the word low level. The word low is not quite true. Like Shakespeare, William Shakespeare wrote novels. Can a machine write a novel like Shakespeare? Maybe yes. Maybe learn from Shakespeare. Maybe learn from your favorite author. Like in Telugu, there's a lady by name Yaddanapudi Sulochana Devi. So there are Telugu writers, there are English writers. Sarojini Naidu wrote poems. So can a machine learn how Sarojini Devi wrote a poem and can create a poem by itself? Doable. Emails, letters, given the desired input. So, low-level generative AI, I am again telling you, excellence can be there in any profession. It cannot be just restricted to engineering and medicine. Excellence could be there in agriculture. Excellence can be there in poetry. Like Narayan Reddy received some very high Padma Bhushan or whatever, or Devulapalli Krishna Shastri, or Dasarathi, from Telangana Dasarathi. So, we will have machines being able to do some of these tasks which we never thought machines can do. Approach. How do we approach the problem? We extract how stories and novels are written. First, what is the thought process behind an expert who writes a novel? Let's say Alfred Hitchcock. I'm sure you would have seen some films of Alfred Hitchcock. How does he write a kind of an, I'm not getting the word, you want to create a film. So you want somebody to write a story, but you want to write a story with lots of originality in it. Ideally, understand the approach used by expert novelists. So the historical themes of future of generative AI. I am coming to the topic. Future of generative AI. Art, like for instance, can a machine ever produce a painting of the quality of Ravi Verma? Can it? Or maybe some other painters from all over the world. You see, I'm telling you this. Marketing, our poetry, Telugu poetry or Hindi poetry, compare with German poetry, or Italian poetry, or French poetry, or English poetry. Be honest in your comparison. Don't bias it. Take some standards, take some benchmarks, and you will get correct answers. If you are honest, you will get correct answers. So, art, literature, entertainment. Like, you want to come up with a night show, like soap operas, entertainment, business, etc. Collection of creativity patterns from experts. So here is the clue. I already giving an indication. We say that somebody is a very good, like Sirivennala Sitarama Shastri. How does he write film songs? Like Sirivennala film. How does he write a song? Can a machine understand how he writes it? Can a machine extract patterns that Sirivennala uses from experts, novelists, etc.? Emulation of current benchmark creations. I say, look, Mona Lisa, I'm sure there will be some painters from all over the world. Look, it's a sad reality, but some creations from some countries are not fully known to the world. You know Mona Lisa, but you don't know the paintings of Ravi Verma in Italy, or in Germany, or in France, or in UK. It is a sad reality. Yes. Or Veyi Padagalu, that is Vishwanatha Satyanarayana wrote Veyi Padagalu. In Japan, they translated this book into Japanese. The novel from Telugu is translated into Japanese. Emulation of generative AI products. Emulation of generative AI products. Collection of expert criticism. See, one of the key features of reinforcement learning is there is a reward or punishment. There is a reward or punishment. Now, suppose you create a generative AI product. You give it to a few experts. Ask them to comment. Then, based upon their criticism, you can take a feedback loop and improve yourself. That's how humans become better and better. You start somewhere, you begin to learn, you let somebody criticize you, and you improve yourself. So the future of generative AI, emulation of creativity. See, in the list I have given about 2 slides. I don't think I have time for everything. Making and aiding film production. There was an English film called Lion King. English film. The film is made by some kind of a animation software. Or I'm sure from India, both South India and North India, you possibly heard of Bahubali. And some of the scenes in Bahubali, they are created, they are not natural. They are created by software. Emulation of film producers. So, can machines create films? My answer is yes. So, kind of, you must always accept. If you try, you can do certain low-level things. But can you create a half-field neural network? Can you come up with half-field neural network? So, discrete time half-field neural network and continuous time half-field neural network. So, definitely, you need very good ability. You need very good ability. Or, I forget the first name. In nonlinear dynamics, there is a theory. I kind of don't get the names right now. Hartman theory, nonlinear dynamical systems. See, the creative abilities, the cognitive abilities of Hartman are not like the creative abilities of Sirivennala Sitaramma Shastri. You definitely need more cognitive abilities to work on nonlinear dynamics. So emulation of low-level intelligence, those which do not require high-level cognitive abilities. For example, cartoons, jokes, proverbs, advertisement themes, film themes. Can a software write dialogues? Can a software help actors? Can a software help comedians? The answer is yes. So the future of generative AI, look, I am not exhausting all aspects of the future of generative AI. I am not, and it 1.5 hours is really a very short time to do that. Okay. Generally, I kind of stop here for a couple of minutes, and I want any questions from the audience. Couple of minutes, yeah. Any questions, you unmute the speaker and ask questions. All right. Either you understood everything or you are a passive listener. You see, there are many aspects of human creativity. For instance, the idea of a pulley. You want to draw water from a well. The idea of a pulley. The idea of coupling pulleys to have mechanical advantage. Okay. So law and order, future of generative AI, automation of governance. This is where Telangana government, this is where Andhra Pradesh government, this is where Gujarat government, this is where Bengali government or any other state in India or anywhere in the world, they are interested. Law and order, helping legal professionals. That is, you take a lawyer, and again, look, you got to understand. It was kind of scary that automation takes away the jobs. I'll give you a concrete example. There are what are called disruptive technologies, like postal mail is almost outdated. Postal mail is almost outdated. When we have postal mail, the post office employees, they have jobs. But with email, postal mail is becoming less. And do the jobs of postal employees, do they go away? We must understand that sometimes governments won't give license, like in United States or some other countries, there are jurisdictions on AI systems. You can't make an AI system which will create large unemployment, because we want everybody to live happily. Follow me. We want, in Sanskrit, Sarve Jana Sukhino Bhavantu. Sarve Jana Sukhino Bhavantu. So it's kind of scary that do we take away the jobs of lawyers? Do we take away the jobs of film producers? Do we take away the jobs of film songwriters? The answer is maybe no. I think some time ago, CEOs of companies, they are saying, look, we got these AI systems, but we got to train the employees to make use of them and to create some other products. So, summarization of text and audio judgments. So you take the cases in the past. See, at Mahindra University, we have a law school. We take the previous judgments, both text ones and audio ones, summarize them. Archiving and automation of land records, which is already done, and associated functions. Handling taxation. How should we tax? Remember, suppose you are a CEO of, let's say, a bank, and you got to create money for the bank. You don't want to do anything illegal, but you want to create money for the employees. For instance, you come up with an idea. Look, if you use the ATM machine more than 5 times, you got to pay some money. It's an idea. It's an idea to create money for the business, handling taxation and financial planning, handling cyber crimes. So, most of you faculty members or some others who are participating in this FDP, cyber security is a very, very important theme. Nowadays, just like during the COVID time, the government is encouraging the service providers to play some audio, and in Telugu, maybe in any other language or English. Cyber crimes are very scary. Can a generative AI system handle cyber crime? Or can a generative AI software can it predict a cyber crime? Can you come up with a scenario where something like this can happen? AI in running government institutions. So the future of generative AI in education and some innovative ideas. For instance, intelligent online education. And again, we can have online universities and many of us will lose jobs. That's where the government will come into picture. That's where. Hello, any question? Hello. Is Professor Shamshirao there? Hello, this person, SB. Please mute your speaker. Please mute your speaker.
already सांगून दिलं त्यांना.
Hello. Hello. You mute your speaker, SB. Intelligent online education. Online universities. Testing automation. That is.
हे तर तुम्ही कशाला त्यांना ऍड करता आम्हाला नाही सांगितलं म्हणून. तुम्ही ऑलरेडी मामाला सांगितलं तर मामाने तुम्हाला सांगितलं ना का नथून मला सांगितलं.
म्हणून म्हणलं की नथूला असं म्हणतो की भाई तुम्ही आम्हाला ना सांगितलं बघ खुशखबर की तुम्हाला माहिती झाली ते असं म्हणतो.
हॅलो.
तुम्ही ना आम्हाला सांगायला पाहिजे का. ते बाहेरचे होते म्हणून त्यांना सांगितलं.
हॅलो. Intelligent online education. Online universities and simplest way of automating testing is question banks, evaluation, personalized feedback to students. Always remember that technology always helps to conduct a human profession. It can be misused. It can create a lot of problems, but you kind of trade off between the advantages and the disadvantages. Aiding nursery, elementary, high school education. Strong foundation in science and technology for future training. All right, you got to understand, with the cyber infrastructure, there are many things that can be done to make the testing fair for everybody. There is no bias, but testing is useful for everybody. Like, you want cheating, you want to detect cheating. You want to detect misuse of access to question banks, misuse of access to conducting the examinations. Sometimes in India, a question paper was leaked by paying crores of rupees. So these things can be made to go to zero. This can happen at the elementary school or high school or in universities. Also, one of the things that you observe when you take any class, there are students at various levels. Some students are very bright. Some students are mediocre. Some students are very poor learners. So currently, we have synchronous learning. You take the minor, you take minor 1, minor 2. You don't get any special test. Asynchronous mastery learning and testing. And then we go to the future of generative AI and applications. All right? Multimedia content generation. Multimedia content generation analysis. Not only you generate text by LLMs, but you generate audio, video, and images. You also generate objects. So most challenging is the semantic relationship. The semantic relationship between videos and images. For instance, when you take the subject of computer vision, I'll give you a simple example. One professor came out with the idea that we have a machine which generates the running commentary for, let's say, cricket, for soccer, for tennis. So there are a bunch of cameras put on, focusing onto the field, and they capture the images, and the images are processed, the videos are processed, and a running commentary is given. One of my past students, he started his own company. He was developing a system based on deep learning to deliver a running commentary for soccer. Running commentary for soccer. So it comes under generative AI. The machine is able to generate running commentary. And companies like Facebook are now Meta. Companies like Google, companies like ChatGPT, they make their money from digital marketing. And the scope of generative AI is vast. Okay? And business analytics, that is, a software makes predictions based on the historical data to be mined. Like, for instance, you give the past data for 10 years and you tell what are the segments where there was a lot of profit. And you cannot give all the data. And a system can generate, like, look, you invest in these segments. You cannot downsize the other segments. All this can be done by AI software. So the theme is identification of low-level tasks which generative AI can play a major role. Again, can a CEO be replaced? Maybe not. A CEO with vast experience in handling personnel, in making them produce may not be replaced by a machine, may not be. Generative AI, novel themes, low-level tasks performed by an average human with low IQ, like automation using AI. Think Amazon, I think is the first company to come up with office assistant. I may be wrong. Look, I'm not very good at keeping track of which company does what. Office assistant, right? An AI system like a chatbot can do much better than human being. And I had my niece who is working in Amazon. She talked about like chatbots in English. I told my niece, I told her, you can have chatbots in local languages. You will have a lot of market. Chatbots in local languages. And you got to keep in mind, these are doable. They are no more science fiction. Translation from one language to another language, you get an accuracy of 90%, which 10 years ago nobody believed that you can do translation with such high accuracy. So these are doable. Planning and good utilization of time, like how to make employees very productive. There can be a software, generative AI software, which can do that. Can some routine tasks performed by an expert, like a doctor, be replaced by an AI system? You see, suppose a hospital gets lots of patients because the hospital is very famous. I believe maybe 20 days ago, Telangana government announced AI in Medicare. There was a local conference on AI in Medicare. So developing AI systems for medical profession is a need of the hour. You take the low-level tasks like the software based on the symptoms and the past medical history, it kind of generates the tests. So the doctor need not go through all the medical records. An AI software can do much better. Right. So the doctor gets the reports of the medical tests. And then what does the doctor's time is very precious. So the expert, like a doctor, handles more critical tasks. Can you say what's the real problem? Based on patient history, generative AI aids in diagnostics. So there are many, many things that can be done. And future of generative AI, science and technology. See, look, the Nobel Prize for Physics was given this year to Hopfield and Geoffrey Hinton. And the Nobel Prize is generally given for a physical law or a discovery in physics. For some reason, the Nobel Committee decided to give it to Hopfield and Hinton. And keep in mind, it is possibly very well justified because artificial intelligence can create revolutionary ideas for science, because processing large amounts of data, deep learning, you don't need an expert to give the futures. The CNN software learns the futures automatically. A CNN software. All right. So I only can impress upon you that generative AI will help in discovery and invention. From the point of view of some of you faculty members, research paper submission, summarization. There was a physicist who said, when I read a paper, I read the introduction, I read the abstract, and I read the conclusions, and I can find out what the fellow has done, emulating the research process. That is, the AI systems are capable of emulating the research process. Look, we may be glorifying human beings. We came from monkeys. We came from gorillas. So you must be prepared to accept that machines can do many things that you can do, including high-level cognitive processes. A software can suggest potential new approaches to solve research problems. That is, a software which can understand. So I am going to the second word in my title. So I quickly go to the title. Future of generative AI. The second part is reasoning. And that's the part, to me, most companies which are doing AI, they are currently not at that stage. Okay. So suggesting potential new approaches to solve research problems. Okay. Now, if any of you is interested, you can look at my first step to solve Fermat's last number theorem. Andrew Wiles solved the Fermat's last number theorem, or he proved Fermat's last number theorem. But look at my first step. It's very different from what people have thought. Synthesis of themes based on history of scientific discoveries and inventions. That is, you take a research area, you feed the program with what are the current themes that people have tried out and people had success. And the software can suggest how to go about new discoveries, how to go about new inventions. Future of generative AI, emulation of reasoning. We are able to emulate reasoning. So if you cannot go to high school or elementary school, after you learn language, after you learn alphabet, after you learn numerals, after you learn multiplication tables, whatever, then the first thing that you do is you talk about Euclidean geometry. You talk about Euclidean geometry. You talk about axioms. You talk about theorems. So, emulation of discovery and patterns of reasoning by mathematicians. That is, the software suggests new problems. I'll give you a simple example. You take a triangle and you take the concept of median. What is the concept of median? You take a vertex, you take the opposite side, and you draw a line. So you have three medians. And the three medians intersect at the ratio 2:1. And how do you prove this? How do you prove such a theorem? How do you prove it? So for instance, a software, AI software, can suggest a new problem. And let me give you an example. See, I'm coming to the most critical part of my talk. Most of you from Google, from ChatGPT, you can get a lot of information. Here I'm giving a problem. You take a triangle, you take a side of the triangle, divide it into three parts, right? Not two parts. Divide the side into three parts. You connect the vertex. You connect the vertex to at least 2 points in the opposite side. You do this for all the three sides. Now, is there, you see, this ratio of 2:1, the ratio at which the medians intersect is universal for all triangles in Euclidean geometry. Triangles in Euclidean geometry. I gave you a problem. So a software, an AI software, can help you in reasoning. Can help you in reasoning by mathematicians. That is, axiomatic systems, to be able to prove new theorems. Already there is a body of literature on theorem proving systems. Abstraction of thought processes. How does an expert, a mathematician, an engineer, an inventor, a doctor, or a businessman, what are the thought processes of some of the best minds in the world? And can we emulate them in machines? To me, I may be very optimistic, but to me, machines can prove new theorems. Machines can come up with new conjectures. So we kind of automate the induction of proof, automation of induction proofs. I'm sure you know what's called mathematical induction. You also know the proof by contradiction. Here, if not, the total process can be automated. It can help in research. Generative AI systems can help in research. Future of generative AI, emulation of reasoning, automation of currently available reasoning approaches. I'm sure some of you heard of expert systems like mycin. Expert systems like mycin. Higher level abstraction of reasoning. The so-called thinking. See, you must always understand that our educational system takes you from elementary school all the way to the university. So there is a lot of training process going on. You see, the large language models behind ChatGPT, you must understand the spirit of them, and higher level abstraction of reasoning is definitely possible. Thinking, inputs from cognitive neuroscience show there are already some efforts by neuroscientists to understand the kind of abilities that human beings have. Understanding how biological reasoning works. How does the biological reasoning work? Can you ask an expert? Like, I'll give you a quotation here. Somebody asked Newton, how did you make all those discoveries? And his answer was, patient habit of thinking. Patient habit of thinking. Understanding how biological reasoning works. For example, learning from mistakes. One of the key characteristics of humans. You take a plate which is very hot. You touch it. Next time you know that you shouldn't touch a hot plate. Emulation of reasoning by the humans. Again, large language models is replaced by large reasoning models. Large reasoning models. So in conclusion, modest aspirations of generative AI are beginning to mature. Our Indian companies, Telangana government, Andhra Pradesh government, Gujarat, Bengali, Marathi, all Indian states are able to be able to achieve modest aspirations of generative AI. Promises of generative AI will drastically change the lifestyle of humans in many fields of endeavor. Future of generative AI is very promising and potentially enables the dream of reasoning systems, thinking machines. It's the dream of AI, and particularly it is the dream of generative AI. Okay, so I stop here and I take any questions. It's already 7:30, 7:35. Yeah.
Sir.
Samshirao garu,
Yes, sir.
can you inform the participants if there are any questions? It's already 7:35.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, dear participants, if you have any questions, you can ask them. Ask the resource person. Hello.
You have to unmute your speaker.
Yeah,
You
I
have
have
to unmute the speaker.
unmuted, sir.
Yeah.
So, dear participants, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, if you have any questions, you can ask our resource person. Yeah, if there are no questions, we, sir, kindly conclude your session, sir.
I already concluded modest. So in summary, the modest aspirations of generative AI are already beginning to mature. So what next? The promises of generative AI, which can incorporate reasoning, will change the lifestyles of human beings in many fields of human endeavor. Tomorrow, I will tell you, if we are careless, AI systems can do a lot of damage. The future of generative AI is very promising, and the potential enables the dream of reasoning systems or thinking machines. So with that, I conclude. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Professor Shobana, madam.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please propose vote of thanks, madam.
Okay, sure, sir.
Shabna madam here.
Sir.
Somebody unmuted the speaker and he was talking in some language. There was a child in the audio. Please don't have this in the other talks today or tomorrow, because I had to unmute him from the list of participants. He unmuted the speaker. There was a child speaking and he was talking in some language and everybody was listening. Please ensure that it won't happen tomorrow or in future. Shabnam madam. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Sure,
Yeah.
sir. Sorry for the inconvenience, sir.
Yeah. All right. So,
Okay.
all the best and good luck.
Yes,
So
sir.
thank you,
It's my privilege to deliver the vote of thanks to Professor G. Rama Murthy Garu, an esteemed professor in the Department of Computer Science, MEC, Hyderabad. On behalf of all attendees, I would like to express our deepest gratitude to Professor Rama Murthy Garu for sharing his immense knowledge and expertise cultivated over an impressive 25 years of experience in the field. Today's session on future of generative AI and its reasoning capabilities has been nothing short of enlightening. It unraveled the complexities of generative AI while lightening its transformative potential has inspired us all, sir. Your insights on the advancements, challenges, and ethical considerations of generative AI have not only deepened our understanding, but also encouraged us to think critically about the possibilities of this rapidly evolving field. Your clarity in explaining concepts made this session truly engaging and impactful, sir. Your very intellectual curiosity, and invaluable contribution for shaping the future of artificial intelligence. Once again, I thank you, Professor Rama Murthy Garu, for your time and expertise. We are honored to have learned from you today, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you very much. And
Thank
I make it clear, if somebody wants the PPT, please share the PPT freely.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, please share the PPT if somebody is interested. Yeah.
Sure, sir. Sure. Thank you, sir.
All right.
Thank you.
All the best. Good night. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. And